You've been on a lot of playoff teams. Where does this one rank in terms of players' confidence going into the tournament?
I've never really thought about that, to be honest with you. I always assumed most teams going in felt like they could beat the other team.
Well, maybe like last year you were a team that was relatively inexperienced as a playoff team. A little different this year?
Yeah, I think you can draw on experience. I think there's something to be said for that, and I think the flip side of that is experience can be overrated. If you've never won a championship, there's no experience to draw on.
Does this feel like a transition between regular season and postseason, or is it more a continuation?
More of a continuation, to be honest with you. It seems like a pretty quick turnaround from Wednesday night to a Saturday day game. I guess historically that's always been the case. I don't know why it feels quicker this year, but maybe it's just my old age.
JJ, I know you have playoff experience yourself, but specifically for this team, the group that returns from last year's run, what did you guys learn from last year's playoff run that you can take into this?
The biggest takeaway, I think, in the playoffs that I've always sort of learned and had to relearn a bunch is just the value of every possession. If you go back to even that Boston series from last year, in 3 of the 4 games we had a fourth quarter lead, and one loose ball, one offensive rebound, one turnover goes against you. It can decide or swing a game, and the Milwaukee game from last Thursday was a great example of that down the stretch. You can't wait to the fourth quarter to value every possession in a playoff game. You just got to start from the opening tip.
JJ, how do you block out the noise and the pressure of this certain playoff run and just focus on what you need to be done?
I've been blocking out noise for a long time. It doesn't change because it's playoffs.
They play a lot of zone. You guys been working on that. You think you're ready to go against that?
Yeah, I mean, it's something we started prepping for a few weeks ago, actually, when we were in Charlotte. Charlotte ran it a little bit, and obviously we played Brooklyn in that stretch, and then Miami ran it too. So we've had an opportunity to sort of have some semblance of like a zone offense. Although, if you call a set play and they happen to be in zone, you just kind of run it anyways. But I think we've done enough now where we can be organized against the zone, and sometimes that's half the battle, is being organized.
JJ, a lot has been made about you guys only playing 10 games together and the chemistry and stuff like that. How do you feel? A guy that's been in this league for a really long time, played on a lot of teams, a lot of situations. How do you feel where the chemistry is and this group is together as you now start the playoffs?
Chemistry's good. We all would have liked to have played a few more games together, but that's just the situation we're in right now. And whoever is available or not available, whether starters, bench guys, whatever, that happens in the playoffs too. And you just got to figure out a way to win as a team.
Is it possible to build continuity as the playoffs continue, or is at this point it is what it is, we rely on talent to figure it out alone?
No, that's definitely possible. I think you can learn a lot game to game. You can learn a lot series to series, and you may hit on something, whether it's a defensive strategy or a play, a two-man combo. Sometimes you just hit on something and you strike gold, and either the other team or a bunch of teams have trouble with it. Playoffs can be a little bit different in terms of strategy. So yeah, I think you can build off stuff. Sure.
They do a pretty good job of running shooters off the three-point line. I guess how do you guys think about that? But you get shots and maybe take advantage if they're a little overly aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, I've always found that the playoffs, the strategy is to take away threes, and so you're constantly sort of being run off the line. I think it's just take good shots, take the shots that are there, rely on our drive and kick game and respacing, if they force us into an open two, I think you just gotta take it and not worry about the analytics.
How would you evaluate this season for yourself? think you've been pretty great.
Oh, thanks. It's an I. It's an I for incomplete. You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, just regular.
Well, the regular season's fine. I mean, you know, it's. I guess. You know, I take a lot of pride in just. You know, sustained performance and feeling like I'm in some ways reliable over the course of the last 10 years or so, and so that to me is my takeaway from the regular season. You know, it's my 5th straight year playing in 70 games or more. All those years have been in my 30s, so that's another thing that I take a lot of pride in. And again, it's an I because it's incomplete. I think you if you're serious about basketball and serious about winning, you want to be on a good team and you want to have this opportunity to hopefully make a deep playoff run, and your season ultimately gets judged on that.
And just to piggyback that, did this season present a unique challenge over the course of your whole career?
That's a good question. To be honest with you, I think every season presents a unique challenge because every team is different. Even at the beginning of the year, we had basically the same team as we had last year, and it was a different team. I started the season coming off the bench. There was an adjustment there. The chemistry is always a little different. The challenge in the NBA is always sort of balancing, your own individual aspirations with what is good for the team, and each player has to go through that. And so there's never a situation where a season is not unique. It's just the nature of the NBA.
Thanks, JJ.
Thank you.